We're continuing our discussion about the devil this morning in our Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast. Satan's real. Satan's a powerful force for evil. He is against us. He's our great enemy. He's described in numerous ways in the New Testament, as well as somewhat in the Old Testament. But here are some of the things we know about him in the New Testament. I'm not going to look up all these with you because it just would take way too much time, and I'll give you the references. So if you want to go back and look these up and see what kind of enemy we have in the form of the devil, here are some of the things that we could mention. First of all, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 24 and 26 through 26 speak of the snare of the devil. So that gives us an indication, we'll look at probably more tomorrow, of his designs on us, what he does to destroy us, defeat us, is that he sets a snare for us. In 1 John 5:19, he has power over the world. God, at the fall of Adam and Eve, when sin entered this world, the Lord apparently allowed Satan to become the ruler of this age. That doesn't mean he is completely has no brakes on him or guardrails. God controls him. God sovereignly is in charge of Satan. He can do no more than God will allow him to do. But for this time period, this dispensation, ever since the Garden of Eden until the Lord finally dispenses of him and sends him into the lake of fire, up until almost that point, actually to the second coming of Christ, actually would be a better way to reference that. Up until that point, Satan he reigns over this world, and that he has power over this world, and he has great influence. And that's why we have so many issues going on today, because he has infiltrated the world with his teaching and his power. He is also deceives the world. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9 speaks of that. Also, chapter 20 of Revelation is that he's a deceiver of the world. That, again, indicates his primary methodology is deception. John 14:30, we're told he's the ruler of the world. What an amazing thing. We think of only God being the ruler, and he is the ultimate ruler. He's the ultimate king, monarch of all things. But he's allowed for a period of time, for this time of history, Satan to be the ruler of this age, is ruler of this world. And he's the God of this world, according to 2 Corinthians 4:4. So we have to take that seriously. That's pretty important stuff, that he is the actual God of this world. So, and then he works in the sons of disobedience in Ephesians 2:20. And that's, matter of fact, let's take a look at that one, Ephesians 2:20. What is he doing in our lives? It says there that in which you formerly walked according to the course of this world, according to the ruler of the power of the air, the spirit that is now working in the sons of disobedience. So Satan has particular power and influence over the unbeliever so that they can't see often the things of the Lord. I think also of other passages speaks of him blinding the unbeliever so they cannot see the glory of Christ. One of the most important reasons why the unbelievers cannot come to the Lord is because they can't see who he really is. He's blinded. They're blinded, spiritually speaking, by Satan and his power. So those are some of the things he does. In Ephesians chapter 6, which is probably one of the most significant passages on Satan and his works, we find in verse 10 these words, "Finally be strong in the Lord and in the might of his strength. Put on the full armor of God so that you'll be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil." So we see here there are schemes. He's a schemer. He's deceiving us, and so he's a schemer. But it tells us our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in heavenly places. This really informs us of the great enemy we have in Satan and his demonic hordes that we haven't yet looked at. And that is that Satan himself and his demonic minions, they're behind the evilness of our corrupt world. And so as we look at the corruption that we find in our world, the sinfulness in so many ways, so many capacities, we're told that behind the scenes, infiltrating the minds and the hearts And influencing the world system is Satan and his minions who are working to control the world for his own purposes. And so those are some of the things we know about the devil. I trust you can look up some of those passages and do a little deeper study. I want to look a little bit more tomorrow about his principal weapon that he uses to try to destroy us. We'll finish off the week by looking at that.